Hello and welcome to tutorial number 6. My name is Diberethwin Arbenlow. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to do selective color effects. Selective color is when you do a black and white treatment on a color photo, but you want to retain some of the color. A lot of times you see this with roses in black and white backgrounds, and the rose petals will have the color, or sometimes you'll see lips or eyes that retain color in black and white photos. That is selective color, and it literally just means you select colors that you do not want to have black and white. So I've chosen this image. We're just going to do selective color on the red lips. So first I just want to remove the background. If you don't have a background, obviously you don't need to do that. If you are unfamiliar with removing backgrounds, I do have a tutorial for removing green screen backgrounds in my YouTube video library. So we've removed the color. I'm just going to add a generic background in here. Generic, let's add black background. And now I've selected my main image, and that is this image here of the detailed skin. I'm going to go to Select and Color Range. In Color Range, I have Select Sampled Colors chosen. I have unchecked Detect Faces and Localize Clusters. I'm going to select the red part of the lip. You just basically want to select the part that is most like the color that you'd like to retain. Now by default, it's going to look like this in your selection window. You'll see this black and then the white part. The white part is the part that you've selected. So fuzziness, the more fuzziness you have, the more of the color that it retains. It has a higher tolerance level for the color. So now it's selected most of my skin, and we don't really want that. So we're going to reduce the tolerance while still maintaining the lips. So just make sure that the part that you want doesn't go away. But most of the color has gone away aside from that. This will not be perfect, but it's closer to what we need than if we didn't do this at all. Now we're going to click Invert. Just make sure your invert button is checked, because we actually selected the color we want to keep rather than the color we don't want to keep. So we invert it to select the color we don't want to keep. When I click OK, you can see that it has selected most of my red. Now, with the layers selected, we're going to the Adjustment Layer button. Now down here on the bottom, you'll see it has a circle with a half filled in line. We're going to click that and choose black and white. Now it's going to create a black and white effect, and then most of my red lip has been retained. That's the reason we selected the red, to make it easier on us in this step. Now the way an adjustment layer mask works is this white box shows you the parts that it has affected with your layer mask. And by affected I mean the black and white parts. So there's a little black speck that you may or not be able to see, and that is actually the red lip part. Black on an adjustment layer mask is the part you do not want to have the effect done on. White in an adjustment layer mask is the part that you want to have the effect done on. So if I have black selected and I want to paint in black over this white square, it will bring color back to the areas that I paint over. So what we want to do is take black with our paintbrush and paint over the red areas. I'm going to zoom in so you can see it easier. Let's zoom to 100. Okay, so you can see the areas where it has forgotten to retain the color. I'm going to choose a brush that has 0% hardness and is a size that is easy for me to use. So your size of your brush will depend on the size of your photo. So this is good for me, this size. Now I make sure I have the white part selected, so I'll click on the white square. I make sure I have black selected as my color and my opacity at 100%. If you'd like to not take 100% of the color, you can also reduce the opacity of your black. But in this case we want all the red. So we're going to have 100% opacity, and we're just going to paint over the area that we want to retain. So you can see this red is coming back into the photo as I paint. And if you go outside the bounds, you can clean it up with the white. So I have selected my red. It's looking pretty good. This just takes a little bit of practice, and mostly it's easy. Okay, so I have a little bit too much selected here. So I'm going to change this to white to clean up the areas that I don't actually want. So it'll take away the peach of that skin tone. So I'm just cleaning up with the white color. Cleaning it up. So this might take a little while to get used to. You may have to go do a couple passes of black and a couple passes of white. We don't have to be perfect though, because this is just for a tutorial. Now here I can see that I've got a little bit of pink left over, so I can go over that with white too. And in fact, if you just zoomed out, let's fit it on screen, if I wanted to, I could just take a huge brush and the white color and just kind of go over it and make sure that I caught all of my colors. Now if you would like to select more than one color to retain, like say you had blue eyes and red lips and you wanted to see both of them, all you'd need to do is make sure you had your white square selected and then paint in black over any other areas that you'd like to retain. It's pretty simple actually as far as these go, as far as adjustment layers go, to create the black and white effect. So basically we're done here without any other editings that we would like to do, and you've created a cool effect in a really short amount of time. That is it for this tutorial. If you have any questions on selective color, or you'd like to suggest or request a kind of video that you'd like to see a tutorial on, you can leave a comment on YouTube, you could send me a message on Plurk, or you can contact me in World at Diberethwin Arbenlow. Thank you for joining me, and we'll catch you next time.